This is a Brady MightyMate label maker, and it is a Bluetooth label maker, so there's no user interface on the unit itself. You basically need to have a phone that can run the app, which you can get from Apple or Google Play stores, to basically type out what you want and put the label out. So I was sent this to review for free. If you wanted to purchase one, I've seen them in the range of $80 to $100. They haven't paid me for my review, and my opinions remain my own. Right, so in the box, they have a quick start guide, which basically says, download and install the app and use that. You also have to charge it up via a USB port. And we have the unit itself. And with the unit comes a charging cable. And this is a USB-C to USB-C cable, but they do include a USB-A to USB-C adapter in case you don't have a USB-C port to power this guy up with. So from this side, it doesn't look super big, but if you do vertically, this thing is a good 2 inches thick. It kind of feels and looks like a big tape measure. It's not exactly rubbery, but the plastic is kind of a soft touch plastic that feels a little bit shock resistant. And they have a power Bluetooth button and then a cut button. The cartridge is currently locked in there with this guy. If you turn this down to the side, there's a button on the back. You push that button, it'll pop the cartridge out. And so if you have one where you need to change or reload the cartridge, you have a cartridge like this, there's this little metal plate here, and that thing has to go underneath this. You set that down, snap it in, and then you take this up to lock it in place. All right, I'm plugging this into a USB-C power delivery source. It's auto-negotiating the power. And this guy is charging at 20 volts. So it's negotiated at 20 volt charge rate. It's only 0.2 amps, so it's charging at about 6 watts, 5.7 watts. I'm kind of surprised it's charging at the 20 volt level there. So now I've plugged it into a quick charge capable USB-A port. And currently it's at 5 volts. Let's see if it negotiates to something higher than that. So it doesn't look like it's negotiating anything higher. So if you plug it into a 5 volt USB port, it's currently charging at 0.46 amps or 2.2 watts. So it does look like you get a benefit by plugging it into a USB-C power delivery port, where it'll charge, instead of 2.5 watts, it'll charge at about the 6 watt rate. It's not a super large draw here, but I think the faster the watts is, the faster it's going to get recharged. Alright, the charging light is green, and according to the quick start guide, 0 to 20% that guy will be red, 20 to 50% it'll be yellow, and somewhere between 50 and 100% it's green. So it's green and flashing. My assumption here is that when that guy is solid, it means this guy will be fully charged. So the model number on this is MM100BT, and the unit here weighs in at 18 ounces. So that's 509 grams, or just right at half a kilogram. So that's 18 ounces is 1.1 pounds. Comparing that to my previous label maker, which is 1 pound, it's pretty similar, just a little bit heavier than the previous label maker. Alright, I've installed the MightyMate Labels app, and it was a 50 megabyte download. It needs a location access to discover the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi devices, so you have to give it access to your location. And then it wants to be able to find and connect to nearby devices, so you have to be able to give it that if you want to be able to connect to this thing. You have to accept some terms and conditions. And it asks about, hey, what's your profession? We'll just say other. And then it wants to make some other things, so it's asking for lots of questions. Got it. So I'm going to turn on the labeler, and it says, hey, a new printer is available. What's my printer's name? You click on it there, connects to the printer, and it says, hey, there it is. Great. Don't forget to lock the label cartridge. I already have. Got it. And so now I can just put in text. and choose how to add content. So you can hit your keyboard, or you can caps lock all the text and so forth. And we can just say MightyMate labeler. All right, so we have that. There's a print button. Hit print, and out it comes. Looks like I accidentally might have put an extra space in there. And it automatically cut it off for me. Let me check if that space was my mistake. No, it's not. It's just the kerning on their fonts. They're a little funky. I imagine I could probably pick a different font. That's fixed width condensed, but I could do something else like this. Oh, object is outside of label. So I might have to, there we go. All right, so that is your Bluetooth label printer. So one advantage of having the full phone app is that you can do things with graphics pretty easily. So for example, here I'm just printing a QR code onto this guy. So these are the types of things that would be hard to do with just a keyboard-based labeler. So I just grabbed a photo off my phone, and obviously it's a black and white version of the photo, and I can, you may not recognize the photo, but I can recognize what that photo is. But if you have any black and white graphics on your phone, you can print them out pretty easily. So the phone app has several built-in templates. You can do borders and graphics, so it's pretty easy to come up with stuff that looks pretty professional looking. So it has features where you can basically have a barcode print the current date and time whenever you print the barcode off of a template. So if you're labeling lots of things and you need to say, when they were manufactured or something, there's some nice features in here for that. And if you hate typing, the voice dictation feature of your phone can be very useful. All right, enough playing around. Let's see how well these labels stick to things. So I have these plastic boxes here which don't have a, it's not super easy to stick stuff to these plastic boxes. So we're going to try this guy here. All right, that's sticking pretty well. I actually had a little trouble centering it because I stuck it down and then it stuck to it. But you can pop it back off again. Now this is a plastic box. Okay, there I got mostly centered there. So I can definitely peel it off again. It doesn't look like it's going to fall off on its own. Well, now, if you get your fingernail under the corner, you can peel it off. It might be that over time the adhesive would stick and stick longer, but it does seem to be sticking on okay for now. Now, one thing I really appreciate about this cartridge and the tape system is that there's a whole line across the top. So anywhere you get this label, you can just grab that line and peel the backing off of the label. And so it makes a handle where you can grab the backing off really easy. And that is a nice feature. I really appreciate that. This is a pretty slick little device. I especially like the ability to do, iconography, QR codes. You can have dates and times that auto-fill in. The little cartridge that comes with it has 10 feet of this tape, so I've probably used about 10% of my cartridge so far. If you buy them new, I think they normally come with 25 foots of tape. You do want to check on the purchase price of the cartridges because that's a decent amount of your operating cost there. So check the cartridge cost versus other types of cartridges. The whole unit here is more expensive than your kind of typical labeler with a keyboard. And so you do get added benefits of the software in your phone being able to do things like QR codes or icons or sticking pictures in. But this unit is significantly more expensive than just kind of the standalone keyboard labeler unit. And so you have to consider that when you're looking at the utility for you. So I think my only real downside on this guy is the price on the consumables, and the unit seems to be higher than other labelers I've seen. But other than that, functionality, it works really fast, it works great. I've been pretty impressed with the hardware. So something like this is typically in the $35 range. And these cartridges are typically, $15 or so, whereas these guys are like $25. So you can probably get a more inexpensive label if you're really only interested in text. I think the real benefit here is if you want to do some of the features like, providing your own images or graphics or QR codes or barcodes. I think that's the real win in this unit. And of course, it does have a rechargeable battery, so you're not always having to go out and, swap in your AA batteries.